Hey there, everyone. It's Gigi's Sober Son. Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Eve, December 24th. We have been given a new life just because we happen to become alcoholics. We certainly don't deserve the new life that has been given us. There is little in our past to warrant the life we have now. Many people live good lives from their youth on, not getting into serious trouble, being well adjusted to life, and yet they have not found all that we drunks have found. We had the good fortune to find Alcoholics Anonymous, and with it a new life. We are among the lucky few in the world who have learned a new way of life, a new way to live. Am I deeply grateful for the new life that I have learned in AA? I very much am. And yeah, I don't think I would have ever learned the lessons of how to live life as I have in recovery in AA with the 12 steps. And the 12 steps continue to teach me, even though it's been well over 30 years since I've had a drink. I keep learning the lessons, and I've been at times absent from meetings. I continue to, as I continue to keep coming back, I'm reminded of the simple kit of spiritual tools that I have. And when I didn't go to meetings, I forgot about the simple kit of spiritual tools that I have been given in AA. And I always felt like, that everybody had the manual on how to live and function properly in the world, and I wasn't given the manual, and I was expected to know what was in the manual, and had very low self-esteem as a result of that belief, And then I come into AA, and this is a true story. I was sitting at work one day within my first, definitely within my first year of sobriety, and there was a guy that outranked me, and one day he just said to me, he was like, "What is it with you?" And I was like, What do you mean? And he was just like, "You seem to have it all figured out." I was like, "Oh, wow, dude. Yeah, I definitely don't have it all figured out, but I'm definitely more comfortable in my own skin than I used to be." And, I pointed to my experience in, I believe that time I did, yeah. But that was quite a while ago. So that was obviously almost 30 years ago that happened. But my brother-in-law, several years later, I was at least a decade into sobriety, when my brother-in-law, who was probably 5 years older than me, and worked in the British equivalent of Wall Street, and was a member of Mensa. In other words, I think you have to have like 120 IQ at a minimum to be a member of Mensa. And he says to me one day, I don't know what it is with you. He said, I'm older than you, but I feel like you're my contemporary. Like I'm considerably older than you, but I feel like you're my equal. Like, what is it with you? I love when I get those questions. It doesn't feed my ego. It humbles me. It humbles me because I know it's not me. It's not my, my can-do attitude. And I laugh so hard because, oh my gosh, like right now, if you could see, my house is in various, I just have a little townhouse that I was intending for it to be a rental property or short-term rental property kind of thing, like a Airbnb or whatever. But I've got like drywall torn out of the walls. I've got the ceiling in the kitchen area is all ripped up, and it's just like I don't have it the way I wanted to have it. My finances are jacked up right now, and I've got to sort that out soon. But it's like the amount of time, I just think the amount of times within my day or week that I just go, oh God, you got to do this. I can't do it. It's too much, like day-to-day type stuff. And if people could see that, they wouldn't, they might not, I know they wouldn't say the same thing, right? So what this does, it can, in fear, it can drive me to play my cards really close to my chest. You know what I mean? But AA has taught me a different way. AA has taught me that I can speak what they call the language of the heart, where I just like tell on myself and just go like, look, I don't have it all together. I have to I have to trust God. Keep doing the next right thing. Moving in a good orderly direction, and things work out. If I get too stressed about any one thing, then I have to back off of it for a little while. I can't forget about it, but I have to back off of it for a little while and reattack and keep handing it over. When stress and fear and worry wants to creep up on me, that is one of those 10th step things. When these crop up, selfishness, dishonesty, resentment, or fear, ask God at once to remove it, talk to somebody about it, make amends if necessary if I reacted in a way out of that fear, and then turn my thoughts to someone I can help. How can I be of service? So there's always a process. And the end result is people notice. That was my point in telling you the stories about the two other guys, But there are people that work all their lives, and in the reading it says, we certainly don't deserve the new life that we've been given us. There's little in our past to warrant the life we have now. Well, some people do. Some people are just good people, right? Some people are just good people. And they found they couldn't stop drinking when they wanted to, right? Not everybody has done, it says no matter how far down the scale we have gone, even if it's not very far down the scale, we can see how our experience can benefit others. We will see that how our experience can benefit others. So, be careful about saying we or you. When like I was in a meeting one time, just as an aside. I was in a meeting one time and this guy goes, Like when you're driving down the road and like you see a cop on the side of the road that stops somebody and he's standing by their car, and like your steering wheel kind of seems to want to steer toward them. And I just went, what? No, I don't know that feeling. Like, and he was just like everybody does this. I'm like, nope, sorry, I do not feel that way. I don't experience that. So be careful speaking on everyone's behalf. Keep it to your own experience, So, and when it says we certainly don't deserve the new life that has been given us, well, I would agree with that in general, in that we're all fallen human beings. But when it says there is little in our past to warrant the life we have now, and there are sometimes accomplishments and things that people have done in their past before drinking themselves into a hopeless state of mind and body, that may warrant, blessings in their life, right? But the beautiful thing is we get the blessings from screwing our life up. Oh, my sponsor, Ken K. They called him Weekend Ken because he would go to the home group mainly on the weekends. He used to say that when, we only in AA can we drink ourselves into such a hopeless state, and then we come into the rooms, say we're defeated, and everybody claps for us and gives us a shiny coin. It's like, great job, man, keep coming back. But it's true, though. I mean, really, it's kind of, and it's kind of like, some churches do like an altar call every Sunday where you go up and, you can get saved, or you can get, get prayed for. And I'm on my church's prayer team, and so I'm not knocking it, right? But sometimes when churches will do an altar call and everybody will clap kind of thing for them and celebrate their surrender, basically. But it doesn't seem as defined an event as AA. Coming to your first meeting, saying you're an alcoholic, basically. Yeah, and you don't have to say you're an alcoholic. There's nothing in the literature that says you have to announce yourself as an alcoholic. I had a sponsor in the DC area, and he would say, hey, my name's Marvin, I'm powerless over alcohol. Boom. And there's been other people who attend AA meetings that just say their name, I look at it kind of like saying that we're all in the same family, and that family name is alcoholic, right? Jim alcoholic kind of thing, Bob alcoholic, Tom alcoholic. We all have the same last name kind of thing. Meditation for the day. A deep gratitude to the higher power for all the blessings that we have and that we don't deserve has come to us. We thank God and mean it. Then comes service to other people out of gratitude for what we have received. This entails some sacrifice of ourselves and our own affairs, but we are glad to do it. Gratitude, service, and then sacrifice are the steps that lead to good AA work. They open the door to a new life for us. And it definitely gets me out of myself, you know. And it doesn't just apply to AA service work. As I've shared before, you know, I go into a rehab facility once or twice a week. I take meetings in. I go to a jail, county jail, once a month usually. But I also serve at my church, you know, like today, Christmas Eve. We have like 4 services, maybe 5 services. Starts at 2, and the last one's at 6:30. So that's 4 services. So yeah, and I'll probably be there for all 4 because I'm going to the first one as a participant with my son who's visiting from out of state. And then I'm going to, and then I'll probably be there for the prayer corner for the rest of them, and serving on the camera for the last 2. So, you know, it's important for me to get out of me. What am I going to do? Sit at home and be all bummed out? I do have plenty of things to do at home, but I find myself just sitting and eating a lot and scrolling on the internet or watching movies or something like that. You know, it's just like I just can't get motivated to do anything right now, but I'm sure that'll change eventually. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may gladly serve others out of deep gratitude for what I have received. I pray that I may keep a deep sense of obligation. Obligation. That sounds interesting. I'd rather stay with gratitude. Out of gratitude, I serve. And when it stops being, I shouldn't say when it stops being fun, I know that I'm out of gratitude. But gratitude has got to always be my touchstone. I'm there to serve. I'm not there to force my opinion. I'm not there to force my perspective. You know, like on the camera, it's interesting now. This is obviously a digression, but like as I'm scrolling, as I'm panning from one side of the stage to the other, sometimes there's huge gaps, right, between the band members, the worship team members, and so, you know, I'm like, I can't see the drummer, and I love to be able to zoom in on the drummer, especially when he's really getting down, you know, because, man, we got a good drummer. And so I want to basically recognize him, and if I can't see him, I can't recognize him, you know. And so there's someone who is, you know, there's people that are more involved in the setting up of the stage than I am, right? So I just tell them, hey, from where I am, and I focus on composition of the camera angle, right? And there's 3 cameras, so I have to be mindful of all 3 cameras. So I started to move a mic stand one time, and one of the guys was like, "What are you doing? You can't just move." I mean, like it really told me off. I was like, "Oh, wow." He was like, "No, it really affects like the sound and everything else. So you can't just arbitrarily, you know, start moving things around." I was like, "Okay, heard, you know," and I kind of, and then there was another time I was telling this same guy about something, and he was like, "Yeah, do whatever you want." And I was just like, I sense a little hostility. I was like, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, and I'm hoping that this little change, what it seems like a little change to me, that's why I'm coming to you, because I'm making sure that it doesn't interfere with anything else because of how you reacted before. I wasn't throwing it in his face. I mean, I probably didn't even say it like that, but he was like, no, I understand. Go ahead. I was like, oh, okay. So anyway, this program helps in all instances. I can realize that, hey, it's not about me, but if I don't say what I'm seeing, my aim is to make things better, and I'm not trying to be, as it says in how it works, not long after the part that we read at the beginning of each meeting, it talks about the actor trying to be the director, right? I'm not trying to be the director. I'm just trying to be the actor and playing my part. And part of playing my part is saying what I'm seeing from my perspective, because no one else can see it from that perspective. And I don't think I would understand it that way if I wasn't a member of Alcoholics Anonymous and I wasn't working the 12 steps in all my affairs. So, and I wouldn't have that perspective about life if I didn't drink myself into a hopeless state of mind and body. I'm not encouraging people to go ahead and become an alcoholic so they can have the blessings that I have, right? I would prefer that people, there are plenty of 12-step programs out there, mind you, but not many people are willing to work them with the same desperation of a drowning man that many alcoholics do. That's required for the program's successful consummation, I think is what it says in the literature. So I'm grateful that I had the gift of desperation to find my GOD, right? To call out to my GOD. And I don't think I even thought of it that way when I went to my first meeting for Keeps 3 weeks prior to my 24th birthday. I just thought, well, my drinking's really getting out of hand here and things are getting scary. So maybe I'll go see, and I had decided I'm not going to drink during the week, and the weekend was coming up, so maybe I'll go to the meeting to see if they can help with getting through the weekend. And it was a Friday meeting, and it did. It set me on the right course. I knew that there was a solution. People were speaking the language of the heart in that room. And it was the same thing that I encountered at an AA meeting when I was 16 years old. People willing to share their crap for it to be fertilizer for my life. I didn't see it that way at the time, but in retrospect, that's exactly what it's all about. So keep coming back, y'all. Love you. Chin up. Aim up. You'll rise up.